Hello and welcome to another episode of Dick Small Engines. Now in this episode we're going to have a look at the SEALY MIGHTYMIG100 no gas MIG welder. I've just took delivery of, so we're going to be doing an unboxing and review. It's all very exciting. So let's go over to the bench, take that step over, and let's go and have a butcher's. So I'll see you in a sec. Right, so here we are. Here's the SEALY MIGHTYMIG100 no gas MIG welder. Let's get her out, let's have a butcher's. Let's see where we're at. Now, I'm no welder by any stretch of the imagination, but there are times in the workshop, well, over the years in the workshop at work, where I've needed to, for want of a better term, stick things back together. It hasn't got to be pretty, but as long as it holds, that's all I'm interested in. So we're not looking for aesthetics, well I'm not. Anyway, but we'll get this out the box anyway. I'll put you on a bit of time lapse. And we'll see where we're at. Right, so here's a unit unboxed on the bench in all her glory. So we've got, from the unboxing, a set of instructions. So I'll have to have a butcher at them. We've got what looks like a carry handle, plastic, although it seems quite robust. What else we got? The earth, let's get that out there. The earth is stamped. Like so. And the torch itself from the unit, that is where we'll be our point of welding with our flux core. Where is that? Let's have a look. We have, I'll get out the packet. Now I'm not entirely sure how good quality this flux core is. Time will tell, but just get out the packets. And we have 0.9mm. It must be SEALY's own brand. Flux core wire. And we must have a main, yeah, and the 3-pin plug. Excuse me. From the unit. T230 mains supply. That was what was in the box, so I'm going to have a look, get it all set up, then we'll have a look over the unit. Right, we're all set up now with the SEALY MIGHTYMIG100 MIG welder. Very straightforward. I've familiarised myself with the unit. So what I've done, I will show you. Fitted this locking clamp for the hood, screw, locking nut, and the spring loaded itself, straightforward. Internally you've got your 0.9 flux core welding wire, which sits on a shaft, which again, and onto a spring locking nut here, and then your wing nut on top. Now we'll do a video at a later date on feeding your flux core into a unit, because I imagine it can be a pain, because they can come off the spool, a bit like a recoil assembly. You can use the recoil spring, very similar to these. Can be a pain, but it's straightforward. So yeah, wing nut there, then we feed into this channel here. We've got two get your words out, the motors here, what feed your welding wire into your, and through to the tip. I'll talk about that in a minute, but you've got to get the tension right, which is done off this locking nut here, into them two pulleys I just mentioned, because if you don't get the tension right on these welders, it can lead to poor welding or an irregular feed. Numerous things there, just a couple I mentioned. So that tension's got to be right, and this is tensioned correctly, as I say. So that sits in the internals of that unit. Then obviously when you're feeding the wire through, your gas cup and your contact tip have to be removed. Contact tip, you see the gas cup here, contact tip is in there, that little copper piece where you can see the flux core protruding from there. So when you're feeding it through, which is very straightforward again, I'll bring it down to show you. Right. Feeding the flux core through, very simple. Dial onto somewhere between 5 and 6, obviously that's your wire speed, idiot proof there. And you want to be on the minimum setting for welding there. Obviously you have to be plugged into the mains with a 3-pin plug, and the unit has to be on. Very simple as that. We'll get to the spec of this unit shortly, but then your gas, sorry, let me show. Once that wire is fed through, you want to be, like I say, your flux core wants to be about somewhere around 40–50mm protruding. Install then your contact tip and gas cup back, and you're good to go. Let's have a look at the specs. Right, here's the spec of the MIGHTYMIG SEALY MIGHTYMIG100 welder. As pointed out there, serial number, British standard data. It's a single phase unit, continuous wire feed. The specs for maximum and minimum, sorry, no low voltage. Obviously it's a 230 volt mains fed welder. Maximum effective current there, and your minimum effective current there for the welder to run. We've also got a thermal overload, which is called, this effectively a safety mechanism. So when that light comes on and the welder's in constant use, the welder will shut itself down. It's also got a fan for, if you like, a cooling system. So you've got a built-in fan around the back of the unit, which is good. So we're ready to do a bit of welding, haven't we? Let's have a look, see what we've got to weld. So I'll see you in a minute. Right, I've got, for the purposes of this episode or video, should I say. An exhaust guard off a MIG 35 Classic. So we're going to stick this. It's not going to be pretty. I'm not welding for it to be aesthetically pleasing. I'm welding, well, the purposes of my welding in my small engine workshop is to simply stick things together. It's not going to be aesthetically pleasing, it's just got to hold and do the job. So I'm going to get this set up in the vise, and we'll do a bit of welding. Right, so we've got your earth clamp on there. I've clamped in the vise the absolute best I can. It ain't going to be pretty, just want to tack it up, get a few welds in it, just to secure it. Earth clamp on, units on. I've got the door to the workshop open. I know it's a very enclosed space, but door to the workshop's open. Get some decent ventilation in here. We are gloved and masked up. Let's get going. Right, so there we have it. It's not pretty, it was never going to be. I didn't intend it to be, but it's stuck back on, so it served the purpose. It hasn't got to be aesthetically pleasing, like I say, but I'm going to do the inside as well. I haven't done that yet, but as you can see, stuck back on, solid. So we now have in a roundabout way, an exhaust guard off a MIG 35 Classic, back as it should be. Like I say, not pretty, but that's not the intention in this workshop, just to stick things back together, and that's exactly what it's done. So I'm happy with that. The SEALY MIGHTYMIG100 MIG Welder, 0.9mm flux score. Am I impressed? Yes, I am. Are the better welders out there? Yes, there are. Is it good in my small engine workshop? Absolutely yes. Do I recommend this for the price? I can't remember what I paid. 138 quid, I think. Absolutely yes. It's going to be a great addition to this workshop. Going to further improve my little empire, small engine empire. So I highly recommend the SEALY MIGHTYMIG100. Now if you like this video, give us a thumbs up if you wouldn't mind. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Just adds to the growth of my channel. Like I said in the previous video, there's going to be more content. I'll be pumping more content as much as I possibly can to keep the channel moving forward. So until the next one, it's raining heavy out there now. Take care. Ta-ra for now.